Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the Dr. Sheet channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So, FPV drone quadcopter simulators. I'm sure you are well aware of the benefits of using a simulator. Maybe you are relatively new to FPV flying, then it's definitely very beneficial to use a simulator. But even if you are an experienced pilot, you want to try out new tricks, or maybe it's raining outdoors and you want to get some practice in, or fun, just for fun, great way to pass the time. So there is a new version of FPV Freerider, and this is a personal thing. FPV Freerider is basically the only FPV simulator I use personally. Again, that's very personal, but it's the one I like most. I do have other simulators, but FPV Freerider is the one I prefer. So there's a new version and it's now available on Steam. There, FPV Freerider on Steam. And this is not a completely free FPV simulator, despite its name, FPV Freerider. Yeah, okay, don't shoot the messenger. It's only €5 though, and that's approximately $6. There's a link to it in the description. I'm not affiliated and I don't get a kickback, but well, check it out so you can check the current pricing or in your denomination. And yeah, so a new version. Before this version it wasn't available on Steam, so if you like to purchase all your software from Steam, that's a benefit. And we'll take a closer look at it in a second, of course, the actual simulator. But one of the big additions to this version is a racetrack generator. What? A racetrack generator? Yeah, we'll have a look at what that really is in a second, but it's actually quite fun. Yeah, it's a nice and, well, unique, if you will, addition to this simulator. I haven't seen it in other simulators, and it's, yeah, it's quite fun, even though I'm, by the way, not a racer at all. But, okay, so let's have a look at the simulator itself. Alright guys, here we are in the new FPV Freerider. Yay! Racetrack generator. That's something you won't have seen if you have the previous version. So that's a big addition to this version of FPV Freerider. I'm gonna show and let you hear a couple of other new features as well. Let me actually start with the custom settings. And in this screen several things have changed, and the most important, at least to me, is that the rates over here on your left are now in degrees per second, just as in beta flight, right? So this makes it far more comparable, if you will. Yeah, so that's different. And let me see. Oh yeah, you can now set expos. Apparently I have it in expo 1. I haven't changed anything. But well, you can expo 2, expo 3. Okay, that's simply more expo. Linear, no expo, expo 1. So that's what I use. I might actually want to try a little more. Oh well. And another addition in this new version is the VR capabilities. Now I don't have a VR set at all, but with this new version of FPV Freerider you can use an FPV VR setup, which might be cool. It's completely different than what you'd actually have in a real live FPV flight, so I'm not sure if it'll teach you anything or be useful in the practice sense, but side by side view. Okay, so as you can see it supports several different kinds of VR. Okay, that's that, and you can change the kind of sound. Now if you, like me, never fly with a headset or an earpiece with your FPV systems, I always go by the sound I simply hear from the ground. So you can change that over here as well at the bottom left. Cockpit sound, so that's the sound your actual quad makes. But you can opt to go by the FPV ground sound, which is the sound you'd hear standing on the ground. Okay, so that's a new addition as well. Also, you might want to take a look at my settings over here, the mass, drag, angular drag and such. If you find the default settings of FPV Freerider to be a bit sluggish or underpowered, try my settings and it'll probably work out better for you. Just a little tip there. Okay, so that's the settings. Now, before we get into the track generator, I want to let you hear actually a difference. So this is this track we have, or track, this location we have over here is in the previous version as well. However, the sound is completely different. To be completely honest, I'm not a fan of this new sound. It sounds a bit muffled, but it's also more realistic. At least it's more realistic than the previous version. You can actually hear what each motor does. So in a yaw spin like this, you can actually hear the front left and back rear motor spin up to make the quad do its yaw thing. So again, I'm not a fan of the actual sound profile, if you will. It sounds a bit underwhelming, but it works well to give you proper feedback about what your quad is actually doing. And that's obviously the most important thing, right? Ah, damn, what the hell am I doing? Other than that, the flying experience itself is mostly the same. I do feel slight improvements, but what exactly has changed is hard to tell. And yes, doing a narration while flying, yeah, especially in a foreign language, and I have my headphones on, so I can hardly hear what I'm saying myself. Okay, so again, the flight experience with this new version of FPV Freerider is slightly improved. I'd say that it's slightly more realistic. So yeah, definitely an improvement. The only thing I don't really care for is the new sound profile. Okie dokie. So that's the basic flying. And let's get back to the main menu here. The tracks this base version of FPV Freerider offers are the same. So you get these 6 tracks, yes, or locations. But the actual new feature over here is obviously the racetrack generator. So let's have a look at that now. Alright, in case you are wondering what controller I use in the simulator, this is the controller I use, the FlySky Nirvana radio. Very precise radio. And okay, the racetrack generator. Here we go. Now, what do we see here? We see a couple of gates and we see a track number, an enormous number, and 318317095. What the hell? Yeah, and we see generate new racetrack. What is that about? Well, actually, let me show you around first. So what you see here is basically a 7th location in FPV Freerider. A small park, a field of grass with a couple of gates, right? 2 double high gates and a couple of other gates. Yeah, so that's nice. And once you move your mouse, that track number comes back into screen and it generates new racetrack. Now, every time you generate a new racetrack, you end up with a completely random, a new generated racetrack. Let me show you. Generate racetrack and hi chickadee. We have a completely new and different racetrack. Right? This time we have only, we have 2 double high gates and a couple of other gates. And the setup in this track is completely different than from the last. Now you might be wondering, well, okay, that's nice, but what is the actual the course you need to race? Well, if you start a timed race, the gates you will have to run actually light up. Now, obviously, I don't know this course at all yet, because, like I said, every time you generate a track, you'll end up with a new track. So the first couple of courses you'll need to find your way to see what the actual track is. Oops. And as you can see, every time you crash, you start all over again. Now, I'm no racer at all. Besides that, this narration business takes away approximately 99.9% of my concentration. Okay, one thing I have to add to that as well is that all tracks this track generator generates are highly technical. So the track layout is pretty small and the gates are close to each other. So opposed to high-speed tracks, all tracks are very well, technical. Difficult, if you will. I think that's fair to say. And is that a good or a bad thing? I think that's a good thing. See, this is practice, right? You don't want to practice on something easy. So yeah, I like that idea. The tracks are small and difficult, and that's what you learn most from. One thing I should also show you, if we go back to the menu, these 6 locations are all quite detailed. Let me show you this one, for instance, the playground. If you take a look around here, you'll see that the wooden structure on your bottom left is quite detailed. The trees are quite detailed, and if you fly around the entire time, everything you see, the ground, the grass, all greavling, all detailing on the location is very, looks nice, looks good, right? Now that's definitely nice. However, this can also be a strain on your computer. Right, so if you don't have the latest and greatest computer, locations such as this one might be too much for your computer. That's why, if we go back to the track generator, the racetrack generator, if we do a fly around over here, you'll see that the detailing on these trees is a lot less sophisticated. They aren't really 3D painted trees. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see that. Besides that, the entire track is pretty small. This field, no greefling on it, no extra detailing, just some grass and the gates. And again, all trees around this field are not very detailed. So why did they do that? Well, again, this racetrack stuff isn't as much as of a burden on your computer, and especially while racing, that's important, right? To have things go smoothly. So I think that's well found. Maybe they got some feedback on the other locations being too much of a burden on some computers. If you have an older computer, you'll still be able to run this racetrack generator. So yeah, cool stuff in my humble opinion. Now, one thing, the tracks you generate in this racetrack generator, again, every time you click that generate new racetrack, you'll end up with a new, completely unfamiliar track, which is fine, that's nice. However, I'd very much like the option of saving maybe 5 favorite tracks. Once in a while you'll end up with a track you really like. So I would like to be able to save at least a couple of tracks. So to the developer of this software, yeah, I think that would be a nice addition to FPV Freerider. Okay, let's see, what more can I tell you? Yeah, in case you are unfamiliar with FPV Freerider, on all the other locations in this simulator, you can either simply do some flying around, acro flying, just for fun, like so. Or you can do timed races on all the 6 locations as well. And just like on the racetrack generator, the gate you'll need to pass through is lit up. So basically, yeah, I'm no racer. In case you hadn't noticed. To be honest, I basically always only fly freestyle on all the locations in FPV Freerider. But again, you have the option of doing timed races as well. So that's basically it. FPV Freerider's new version of 2018. Very, very nice. And in case you're wondering, yeah, there will probably be a new version of FPV Freerider Recharged as well, approximately in the beginning of next year, I think. And that'll have a actual track designer. But well, again, that's not finished yet. And the recharged version is slightly more expensive. If you are left with questions, hit me up a comment down below. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.